Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today as we provide an update on a recent homicide that occurred back in December 9th, 2022. In a moment, you'll hear from Chief David Valentin. On stage with him will be Homicide Sergeant Mel Sarabia, Deputy Chief Sergio Enriquez, and as well as the victim's husband, Ramiro Flores. I'd like to now have Chief David Valentin on the podium.
Okay, while, is this on? Okay. Brian, we're good? Okay. All right, while they get that squared away with the photos, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for coming this afternoon. We want to share with the public the outcome of an exhaustive investigation involving the homicide unit and various other detective units in the Santa Ana Police Department. With me here on stage is Mr. Ramiro Flores Mediola, to my left. He is the husband, now widow, of our victim in this gang-related homicide, Maria del Refugio Mora from Santa Ana. I have representatives from the police department that have worked diligently on this case as well. And so I will provide you an overall fact pattern of what occurred and then answer any questions that you have. Mr. Flores will not be addressing the media at this time. And I can share some of his thoughts and speaking with him, I certainly can do that. On Sunday, December 4th, 2022, at approximately 4:27 p.m., a gang-related shooting occurred in the area of 1400 South Cypress. We believe the intended targets were two juveniles in the parking lot of 1473 South Main, which is a small shopping center. Also in the parking lot was 36-year-old Maria Mora, her husband, and 3-year-old son. Video surveillance gathered shows a white sedan turning onto Cypress, where at least one of the subjects exited the vehicle, and then he began shooting at the two juveniles that were on the street. The juveniles ran from gunfire and were not injured. Tragically, Maria received a gunshot wound to her upper torso and was transported to a local hospital for treatment in critical condition. On Friday, December 9th, at approximately 11:47 p.m., hospital staff notified us that she had been pronounced deceased. Since that day of the shooting, as I mentioned, the homicide unit has worked tirelessly on this investigation, following up every possible lead to get to the suspects in custody. Follow-up investigation including analyzing surveillance, conducting extensive interviews, using investigative resources that are confidential to the investigation, which led us to identify the vehicle in this case, which is a white Toyota Camry, which was ultimately the cause and the lead that identified the suspect in this case. The suspect is identified as Mark Reimers, 19 years of age, and his accomplice is Brooke de la Cruz, 24 years of age, both from the city of Orange. Through investigative resources, detectives learned of Reimers' involvement as the shooter in this case, being at the location, and was taken into custody in the city of Costa Mesa in the area of Newport Boulevard and Victoria. De la Cruz was the driver, we believe, in this case. She was taken into custody in the city of Orange, along with the suspect vehicle in this case. Again, I cannot express the appreciation for the diligent work of the homicide detectives, major enforcement team, our vice unit, special investigations, that all work collaboratively with no questions asked to get this resolved. This is truly a very, very tough case that really tugs at our hearts, all of our hearts. This is a mother of 3 boys, a true innocent bystander at a store with her husband and a 3-year-old son getting some food. And these people involved in this senseless murder have devastated this family forever. We're days away from, we're in the holiday season. We're days away from whatever holiday you celebrate, Christmas or otherwise. And this will impact this family, not only this holiday season, but for the rest of their lives. And so my heart, the hearts of the Santa Ana Police Department, the men and women, go out to the family. And in speaking with the family, we are joined forever because of this tragedy. We are still actively investigating the case, gathering evidence, attempting to identify additional suspects and witnesses. So we need the public's help. We need the public's help. Even though we have tremendous success in this case thus far, we are still working diligently to determine what else was involved in this. Why did this happen, right? We understand that our victim was not the intended victim, but there were other people that were present, and we know there's other people that witnessed what occurred. And any information can help us leading up to this and what has occurred after. Anyone with information is urged to call the Santa Ana Police Department Homicide Unit. Please call 714-245-8390 or the Orange County Crime Stoppers at 855-TIP-OCCS. This incident, because it is gang-related, is eligible for our gang reward program, which is up to $50,000 for information leading to additional suspects in this case. We believe there's one shooter at this point, one shooter involved, and we have that person in custody. That's Mr. Mark Reimers. Mr. Reimers is a well-documented gang member out of our city, the city of Santa Ana. And so, again, I appreciate everybody being here and sharing with us in this not only tragedy, but also resolution. I cannot express my sincere heartbreak behind this. Any loss of life is horrific, but when you have a mother, hardworking family, just trying to survive, bothering no one, really, no one. They don't deserve this. Her boys don't deserve this. That's the briefing in terms of fact pattern of what occurred. I can certainly answer any questions. Mr. Flores, again, wanted to be up here with us. He extends his appreciation to the detectives that have worked around the clock. His hope and prayer is that there be justice for anyone associated to this horrific crime in taking the life of his wife and the mother of his 3 boys. So we will continue to support him and his family as much as we possibly can. We've ensured victim advocates are present and engaged with the family as well. I'm open for any questions at this point. Yes. Yes, so their acquaintances is our understanding. Mr. Reimers is the documented gang member. He's been arrested and booked for murder with gang enhancements. Brooke De La Cruz has been booked for murder as well. Yesterday. Right. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to determine is who else was in the vehicle. So we have these two individuals, and we know there was, at least one, maybe two additional people. So that's what we're following up on, to identify them and speak to them. No. Mr. Mark Reimers. Yeah. I'm sorry? Investigative resources, talking to folks, knocking on doors, good old-fashioned police work. Hard, diligent, professional police work. There is some information that there's possibly some association to a gang as well. Yeah. Yes. Yes, we spoke to them, but they're not in custody. No, legally they wouldn't be on the hook for anything. They were running for their lives as well. So, yeah. Yeah, they're both from the city of Orange, is what the information I have. Correct.
What's your message to the community, SAD community especially, related to gun violence? People that grew up here in the early 90s, 2000s, those are big issues, seem to go away. Is it on the rise again? This was seems to be broad daylight. What's your message to citizens of SAD?
My message is that anytime an incident like this occurs, the police department will do anything it can to address violent crime. We have a variety of different units that work proactively. The community sees them, and we will stay the course on traditional policing. What happened across the society and country is that police forces pulled back resources. And so when you go through a pandemic and all the other associated factors, that's not the time to pull resources away from our community. We need to enhance resources and be smart about how we deploy our personnel. So we look at all of these critical incidents for not only the facts, any intelligence, and then any deployment adjustment that we need to make across the police department. My staff knows that on a Monday morning, after something tragic like this, that's normal course of business. And so in addition to that, there's no, this isn't a secret. Responsible gun ownership, that's what we need to focus on when we're talking about, gun control, right? Why is someone driving around the city shooting at people indiscriminately? That shouldn't happen. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of innocent people being impacted for life. You mentioned the early 90s. I've been here my entire life, and I know I lived through the early 90s. Bloodshed, almost 100 gang-related murders. It was a horrible time. We're not ever going back to that time.